In a grand ballroom in New York filled with crystal chandeliers and billionaires, a man named Richard Hale stood at a podium. He was a fast food legend, the founder of a global burger empire. "Let's be honest," he said, his voice dripping with confidence. "You can't beat the classics. All these small brands trying to copy us, especially those from Asia, they'll never stand beside McDonald's." The crowd chuckled. He continued, his tone full of mockery. "There's even this Jollibee thing. They sell spaghetti and fried chicken together. I mean, who does that? Who wants sweet spaghetti in a fast food restaurant? That's not innovation. That's confusion." The audience roared with laughter. For Richard, food wasn't about culture or joy, it was about numbers and profit. But halfway across the world, in a bustling Jollibee in Manila, families gathered. Children laughed, and a grandmother watched her grandkids share that same sweet spaghetti, her eyes warm with nostalgia. For them, it wasn't just food. It was a taste of home. And while Richard laughed in New York, the little red bee was quietly spreading its wings. Years passed. Richard's empire grew, but then reports started coming in. Losses in Hong Kong, declines in Singapore, and fierce competition in the Middle East. Then, the strangest report of all came from Los Angeles. "Sir," his analyst said, "there's a new competitor in the Filipino districts of California. Their name is Jollibee." Richard smirked. "Oh, that again. I thought they only existed in the Philippines." "Not anymore," the analyst replied. "They're expanding aggressively. People are waiting 2 hours just for their fried chicken." Richard laughed it off. "A novelty. Give it 6 months, they'll vanish." But they didn't. 6 months later, the lines grew longer. Jollibee didn't vanish. It multiplied. New branches opened across California, then Texas, then New York. Celebrities started posting about it, calling it the happiest meal in America. Food vloggers filmed emotional reactions as they bit into Chickenjoy for the first time. Meanwhile, Richard's brand started closing stores. One day, Richard saw a news segment, "The Bee That Beat the Giants." It showed smiling families lining up outside a Jollibee in Times Square. The reporter said something that made him pause. "They say Jollibee's secret isn't just the food, it's the feeling. A taste of home for millions, and a discovery of joy for millions more." Richard turned off the TV, frowning. A taste of home? It's just fried chicken. But a heavy feeling settled in his chest. Years rolled on. Jollibee's red logo became a global symbol. It opened in London, Dubai, and Tokyo. A headline finally broke him. McDonald's closes 15 stores across California due to competition from Asian brands. The article showed a line of people waiting happily outside a glowing Jollibee. For the first time, Richard didn't feel angry. He just wondered. Disguised in a plain cap, he walked into a Jollibee in Los Angeles. The line stretched out the door. Inside, there was laughter, a mix of Tagalog and English. The woman at the counter greeted him with a genuine smile that caught him off guard. "Welcome to Jollibee, sir. What would you like to order?" The chicken," he said awkwardly. "The Chickenjoy, right?" She grinned. "Yes, sir. One Chickenjoy meal. You'll love it." He sat near a window and watched. Families, nurses in scrubs, teenagers laughing. Everyone looked so alive, so connected. Then his food came. Golden brown chicken, steaming gravy, and rice. Simple, humble. He took a bite. Crispy, tender, perfectly seasoned. The gravy was rich, warm, almost comforting. He blinked, surprised. He took another bite, and something stirred inside him. A memory of his mother's Sunday fried chicken, a time when food meant family, not profit margins. He looked around. In his restaurants, people ate and left. Here, they stayed. They talked. They laughed. It wasn't just a meal. It was a moment. For the first time, Richard understood. People don't just eat to survive. They eat to feel. As he finished, a man at the next table smiled. "First time eating Jollibee, sir?" Richard nodded. "Yes, first time." The man grinned. "You'll be back. Everyone does." That night, he found his old speech notes and wrote across them in bold letters, "Food is not competition, it's connection." Months later, Richard gave his final public speech. "When I was younger," he began, "I thought business was about dominance. I was wrong." He paused. I visited a restaurant I used to mock, and I saw something there I had never built in decades: joy. The world doesn't need more fast food. It needs more soul food. Food that makes people feel at home. He smiled faintly. So yes, I once laughed at Jollibee. But today, I respect it. Deeply. Because it reminded me why we started cooking in the first place. The audience stood and applauded, this time with genuine admiration. In the front row, a young Filipino entrepreneur whispered, "That's our Jollibee. That's our pride." Richard retired to a quiet seaside home. But sometimes he'd visit the nearby Jollibee, order his usual, and sit by the window. He'd smile and whisper to himself, "They said it would never stand beside the giants, but maybe it was always above them, in spirit." Outside, the red bee smiled back, bright as ever, and the man who once ruled the fast food world finally learned that greatness isn't about being the biggest. It's about bringing the most joy. Thanks so much for watching. If this story moved you, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that celebrates the heart behind the hustle. See you next time.